Incredible. Wow. Yeah, if you guys couldn't already tell, we have a great show for you this evening. If you're just joining us, welcome in. I'm your host, Christian Evanko. This is episode number 27 of our band show. And from a boring beach town, we're very lucky to present to you tonight, Innlet.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so pleased.
So are we. I mean, this has been incredible. There's a lot of places we can dive in, right? We want to talk about the sound. We want to talk about all the different instruments that we're seeing. But let's start at the very beginning. I want to know, how did five, I mean, I guess it's really seven, right? But that time we booked you guys, it was five. It seems like you're still growing. So how did some friends from high school form a group this eclectic, this incredible? Tell me the story.
Thank you so much. I mean, I think all of us have like really musical backgrounds. And we've all like really wanted to do this band shit for most of our lives. And I was in a guitar class because I didn't want to be an AP Chem, which I feel like it's valid. And I knew Matt played, and I wanted to be in a band hella bad. And I just like sold in on him, and I was like, I'm gonna sit next to this kid. And next thing you know, we started playing together. Had a little duo show together. We all like known each other kind of like through school and stuff. And we had a duo show together. I know Max played drums, and Charlie was telling me like, oh, we should all jam together. So I hit up Max, and then we all just started jamming together like about a year and a half ago. And yeah, it's been tons of fun. Yeah.
So you have some history, but only been playing together for a year and a half. So had you all known of each other's musical capabilities? Can you expand on that a little bit?
I knew Matt played guitar. I played with Charlie a little bit like a couple years before we started playing, but I had no idea Levi played at all, which was a shock to me. And then me and Huey were actually childhood friends.
I've heard, best friends.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
And
it's almost like a badge
until the
of honor
big incident.
He worked with Levi, so it was a connection.
Yeah, and I really wanted horns, and I knew Hugh played, and I kept saying, I'm like, what kids can we get to play horns? What kids can we get to play horns? He went off to Rutgers, found Caroline, and she's amazing. Danny, who sadly cannot be here, but he's
Danny.
amazing. So yeah, we're super lucky.
So a bunch of friends who knew each other throughout high school in various ways had never really come together until the point they did. What was that first moment where you guys all got in the same room and Innlet was born?
I feel like the first time we came over to your house, it was like kind of awkward because me and Matt had played together a bunch.
Levi, I've never talked to Levi my whole life. He just texted me up. He's like, "Oh, this kid's gonna make fun of me." But I was super stoked to play in a band with him, and yeah, it was a little awkward the first time because I'm a little socially awkward, but
I think we all are.
But yeah, we're best friends now.
Yeah, we're really good friends.
My only friends.
I could tell. I could see the chemistry. It's awesome, and I think it also seeps out into the tunes. So let's talk about it, right? We've been joking around something we came up with. The reason we've said it a few times. Before we went live, we all said, how do we describe you? And Levi said, we're from a boring beach town. But let's talk about that, right? Because indie, jazz, fusion, I mean, surf. There's a lot of textures. I wonder if being so close to the ocean inspires the surf. But why don't you guys tell us, how do we pull from all the different influences that make your sound? Talk about that.
I think a lot of it is like you don't intentionally do it, but when you're writing songs, you know what you like and you know what inspires you, and that kind of just bleeds throughout. I think like I kind of put my influences like from bands, like indie bands that I liked when I was playing just guitar with Matt. We would play a bunch of stuff together, and I think through our writing, that has just kind of come out from us playing all those cover songs, that kind of thing. Like I don't know, what would you say about that?
Oh yeah, entirely. Before I met him, I was strictly playing just metal guitar. And I feel like that's a big influence in our music today, because even though it is a, like you said, surf jazz indie type vibe, when they give me a distortion pedal, I'll really use it.
And I hear the sweeps you're doing, and it's like surf style. Like, you ever seen that guy on Instagram who does like Iron Maiden, but in the surf?
Yeah.
It's like kind of like that vibe.
I also think a lot of it is like that's helped us, I think, a lot in creating like a more unique sound. Is like all of us really like different styles of music, and I think, and play different styles of music. So I think when that comes together, writing like drums wise, like bass wise, I think all those different like characteristics of different genres come together.
Sure. But help myself and the audience kind of settle in, because we are talking about such a wide array of sounds when we talk about Innlet. So what were some of those covers that you guys agreed on and said, hey, this is a cool place to start? I think we'd like to know, myself included, where you found some common ground to build off of.
We all definitely started at the Backseat Lovers. they're a really popular indie band, and we all just, that was kind of our bridge where like even though we come from different aspects, we could all agree that that's some pretty good music.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And I think, also think like the typical indie coverage you would think of, like Strokes, Mac DeMarco, that kind of stuff. But definitely backseat covers were like something that all of us kind of enjoyed.
Yeah.
First starting out. So like Pool House, Kilby, Maple, they're all playing.
And yeah, we're gonna hear some Backseat Lovers and some Mac DeMarco later this evening.
Yeah.
So wearing your influences on your sleeve. And we haven't actually, I think, previewed those songs throughout the day. So I'm excited to hear your version of two really great songs by some really great current artists, which it was interesting to me, your choice to cover current artists. A lot of times when people roll through, the songs are about 20, 30 years old. But I thought it was kind of interesting to pick some younger artists to cover. What was the choice behind that?
Honestly, I think social media is bad for you, but I feel like you're just constantly seeing those covers. I don't really know what else. Like, what would you say?
I'm gonna give this one to Char.
Yeah, I think Char's a good resident of this one.
Well,
Talking to the mic.
And I'm like,
I'm gonna send this one over to Max.
I think it's just like a lot of common ground. I think everyone knows these songs.
that's a good point. They're like pretty
Everyone in our
lexicon songs in like our
generation,
generation, 100%.
Okay.
So
I can see that too. There are definitely some popular artists in the new generation carrying on rock and roll, right?
yeah,
Guitars and drums and actual performances on the recordings, which is very much so what you guys do. So we'll get more into your influences a little later. I think we've touched upon some good stuff. I'm wondering now, was there a this is it moment where you guys went from doing covers in the basement or the first practice space to saying, hey, like let's compose, let's work on some original music together? How did that happen?
I don't know. I feel like very early on we were very like wanting to be original music centric. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like before Inlet was even a thing, and it was just Levi and I. That's when we started coming up with the first, piece of Black Horse Lake that obviously developed into what it is today because of these people. But we've always just kind of had that mindset of like,
Yeah.
Cover songs.
I think it was always like let's get a band together to be an original band. It was never like to do covers.
Yeah,
never.
another like this is it moment might be like first time playing a show when like people are singing your lyrics back to you. I think that's
I think that's cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Nice, I like that. So the covers were really just a way to find some common ground and get things going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely get tighter as a band and pass the time.
For sure, and with the artists you're covering, I mean, you need to have some chops to play those songs. Now, with that said, Matthew, you brought up your first song, Black Horse Lake. You guys were kind of shot right out of a cannon from the get-go, which is, I don't think something most bands have the experience of. So can you talk about the success of that song early on and how that's impacted the band since?
I think it was kind of unexpected. Like previously when we started doing everything, we were just kind of like we were talking about doing covers, like posting them on TikTok, whatever, and they were doing decent. And then when we like started to push Black Horse, I think we didn't really expect it to do as well as it did, but it's been a huge help, I think, for us, and we're super grateful for it. Just to kind of like get that initial push, meet the people that you want to meet, that kind of thing. But at the same time, I feel like it's nowhere near like an actual big moment that we're still like keep pushing, keep trying to get better to.
Yeah, it makes you hungrier.
Yeah, it makes you want more.
It was nice to get a little bite right off the start, but we know that's just a drop in the grand scheme of things. So it always motivates you to go do more.
I love that mentality. That's awesome. And I really do. I mean, listening to the new record, we're going to hear some songs off that album a little later, and the progression is there. It's apparent. The hard work is there. It's apparent. And I love that you guys didn't get too comfortable. I feel like that can happen, right? Especially for the debut song, to have a mini viral moment. That's awesome. A lot of people really work hard to get even half that, right? And to have that out the gates and to hear the attitude towards that, I don't know, it just speaks to the hard work I've seen all day here. You guys really, I mean, even I thought it was perfect, by the way, audience every time, but they were saying, we'll get it a little better. Let's run that again. Let's tighten this up. Let's polish that a bit. It's just kind of something I've been noticing all day. And I think it is apparent, the chemistry and the work ethic. So I love hearing that.
Thank you, man. It means a ton.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course. I think I want to hear some more tunes now. We have a ton more conversation to come, so stick with us. If you guys like what you're hearing, we would really appreciate you guys not only supporting our show with a like, subscribe, or comment, even share this with a friend, but please go to Innlet. Their page is on Facebook, Instagram, and of course on streaming services, and support their music. But without further ado, we've talked about the sound a lot. Now let's sit back and enjoy the sound. Let's hear another set of tunes, guys.
My God.